CBI.
All right, Sandhya, thanks so much for getting us all the updates on that important story. And ICICI Bank is under pressure today. Now, ethylene glycol has been named as a cause of death in multiple cases across countries over the years, from Panama to China, Nigeria, Indonesia to India. Now, most recently, it has been named as the contaminant in the cough syrup manufactured by Marion Biotech that allegedly, remember, resulted in the death of 18 children in Uzbekistan. And though the government has given a clean chit to Maiden Pharma, well, the same contaminant was named by the WHO and Gambian authorities in the cough syrup manufactured by the company. Now, the alleged cause of death of around 70 children in Gambia in October this year. So why are companies still using this particular component, which is considered toxic, and what are the regulations behind it? Ekta Batra gets us all the details.
Thanks for that. Well, yes, ethylene glycol and diethylene glycol are colorless, odorless, sweetish tasting substances which are more used for industrial purposes, ranging from antifreeze formulation to brake fluids to paints, plastics, etc. The pharmaceutical grade can be used for medicines and consumer products in the quantity that is recommended. Remember, the two substances can be toxic if there is any contamination to the pharma grade and if it is consumed beyond recommended levels. In fact, there are safer alternatives to these substances such as glycerine and propylene glycol for drugs. So why is ethylene glycol, or DEG, then still being used when safer substitutes are available? Factors range from the substance being easily available, has greater solubility, more palatable, i.e. sweeter, hence used for pediatric drugs, and lastly, more cost efficient. The question then arises, which companies use these substances? Do all pharma companies use them? Feedback is that there is no regulation that indicates it should not be used, but based on history, ethylene glycol and DEG should be avoided. Generally, companies with good R&D and manufacturing practices avoid using the component in case it can be substituted. So if pharma companies do use ethylene glycol and DEG, are they required to test these solvents? Yes. Schedule M of the Drugs and Cosmetics Act indicates all raw material needs to be tested for compliance with required standards of quality. Feedback again is many a time smaller companies who cannot afford to test solvents, or those with lax manufacturing processes or poor personnel might not comply with the law. In some instances, allegedly, the quality certificate provided by the distributor is used by pharma companies to get approvals. Lastly, what can be done to tackle the problem? Experts say there needs to be tighter regulations and guidelines in place, such as in the Indian Pharmacopoeia. Frequent inspections by regulators and checks and balances to ensure a quality supply chain, and more importantly, these steps need to be enforced. One can also consider factors such as putting out a list of more hazardous substances, such as glycols, on the drugs manufactured. Currently, only the active ingredients need to be listed, which can possibly lead to more informed decisions and probably more accountability.
All right, Ekta, thanks a lot for getting us that complete explainer on this story. But with that, we have to get into a short break now. On the other side, we're going to get you some interesting, stats on what India really ordered